everyone, and welcome to Week 7 of Big Sky Friday Nights, which just so happens to fall on today's date at 10-10, and 10 out of 10 is what I'm grading the level of competition going into the final third of the high school football season. Crosstown rivalries, playoff picture implications, and our top 3 plays of the week are straight ahead, so let's kick it off with our game of the week. In case you somehow can't tell, it's crosstown in Missoula. And the number 2 spot in the Western AA is on the line between Sentinel and undefeated Big Sky. Eagles ball first, and Eli Kasberg, look out, puts the ball on the ground, fortunate enough to fall on it. Big Sky punts, and they'll try to force a punt of their own. Dane Oliver, though, calls for the fake, and it's QB1 Rudy Hess up the middle, and Sentinel makes the crosstown rivals looking foolish early, and they'll cap off the drive, drawing Hess's number again for the score, and it's all purple and gold to start this thing off. So Big Sky needs an answer, but instead they get Jake Bogus blowing up the drive and putting Kasberg back in the turf, and here comes the Spartans once again on the goal line. They'll run a sweep, but Cormac Bat all over that one for a huge loss, and Sentinel settles for 3 to make it 10-0 at half, but these Eagles don't quit and somehow, some way, muster just enough offense to pull out the comeback as they take it 12-10 to remain unbeaten with 2 weeks left in the season. And it's senior night for the Bulldogs as Broadwater welcomes in the undefeated Manhattan Tigers. Will the Dogs sick the Cats and end the streak, or will Manhattan spoil senior night? Let's find out. The Tigers gets the scoring party going as Manhattan marches down the field where quarterback Tyson Pavlik keeps the ball for himself for the easy tutty. Manhattan takes the early lead at 6-0. Next offensive drive for the Tigers, and it's 4th down. Manhattan decides to go for it, and Pavlik finds Braden Zickman for the screen, and he's off to the races. Touchdown Tigers, and that's not the end for the duo as the third offensive possession for Manhattan. Pavlik takes the snap, steps in the pocket, and launches it deep and finds Zickman for another score, extending the Tigers' score to 21-0. 2 fantastic drives capped off by this QB and receiver pair. The Bulldogs have their backs against the wall and need to get back into this game quick as Taven Anderson takes the ball, fires off the rocket, and the ball is tipped by the Manhattan defender into the hands of Logan Johnson. The young man is gone. Broadwater finally gets on the board to cut the deficit 21-7, but the Tigers would shake off the big plays and take care of business on the road as Manhattan extends its win streak by a final 21-15. And meanwhile, in Class A, there's not a lot of love between Columbia Falls and Whitefish, and tonight the 2 clash for the top spot in the Northwest. Kenzie Valentine head north for the Glacier Size Showdown. Hi, Kenzie.
Hi, Alex. Let's talk about this matchup. This is a rivalry game for Whitefish and Columbia Falls. Last year, it was only a 3-0 victory for Columbia Falls after a 41-yard field goal secured the win. Now, as far as tonight, these teams are the top 2 teams in the Northwest Class A, which means the winner here tonight will take the lead in the division and score a bye for the first week of playoffs. It's going to be a battle tonight. Let's see who can secure that division lead. To start the game, Cole Moses has a long run down the far sideline for Whitefish, missing a tackle, another tackle, and runs it in for 6. Missed extra point on that drive. QB Luke Dallin keeps it himself for a rushing touchdown. They attempt a 2-point conversion, but couldn't convert. Score is 12-0 at the end of the first quarter. Early in the second, Whitefish fumbles and Columbia Falls recovers. Whitefish answers with 2 back-to-back sacks and stops a 4th down conversion. Whitefish marches down the field, and Dallin makes a spin move, then keeps it for himself again, but can't capitalize for a touchdown. They settle for a field goal, making it a 15-0 lead. Gabe Plavel makes a monster catch, getting Columbia Falls into scoring territory. With 1 second remaining in the half, Columbia Falls tries to run it for a touchdown, but is quickly stopped. Score remains 15-0 Whitefish at half. How about Columbia Falls? They have come back from 18 points down and now lead 19-18 after a touchdown and failed a 2-point conversion. It's official. Columbia Falls wins 19-18 and takes the lead in the Division Northwest Class A, which means they will get a bye going into the playoff week. From Whitefish, Kenzie Valentine, NBC Montana Sports.
Whole lot of comebacks tonight. Thanks, Kenzie. Don't go anywhere. There's plenty more games to get to, but first, let's check out our statewide scoreboards. Thanks for sticking with us. You know, we've reached the time of year where every game can dramatically affect the playoff picture, and over in Bozeman, the Hawks are hoping to hold third place over Great Falls CMR, and that's where we find Tommy Rooney standing by live from Van Winkle. Tommy, normally when we're talking Hawks and Rustlers, we're talking life on the ranch, but not high-stake football, but lots on the line tonight. Who's taking control of third place out east?
That's right, Big Al. It was a battle for the 3 seed here tonight, and the Rustlers were hungry for an upset. Let's take a look. Welcome to Van Winkle Stadium on a beautiful October night where the Bozeman Hawks faced off against the CMR Rustlers in a game in which playoff implications were at stake. First drive of the game, and after a long march down the field, quarterback Van Shockley marches his way into the paint to put the Hawks in front early. CMR said say less, and quarterback Caleb Taylor hits Ben Cunningham, and he gets on his horse for about 50 yards, and he would not be caught to tie things up at 7 apiece. Following possession, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. Shockley maneuvers his way into the end zone for his second rushing touchdown of the night and makes it 14-7 for the Hawks. But CMR didn't drive all the way to Bozeman just to roll over, and running back Hunter Lee channels his inner Camp Scatteraboo on this run. And he will not be stopped. Powering past defenders, he takes it all the way to the crib to tie things up once again. After a Bozeman punt, CMR engineered a good drive up the field, and Lee takes it in once again to give the Rustlers their first lead of the evening at 21-14. CMR would go on to win 27-21, limiting the high-powered Hawks offense to just 3 scores. They improved to 4-3, and Bozeman falls to 4-3 with the loss. The Hawks will be back here on Thursday to host West High. In Bozeman, Tommy Rooney, NBC Montana Sports.
All right, thanks, Tommy. Let's stick in the Double-A where we have 2 teams up north simply trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. It's Flathead High School and Butte doing battle up in Kalispell. Loser of this one knows deep down their playoff dreams are likely crushed. But early on, the lights aren't too bright for Eli Koopman. First quarter on his own goal line, slings a laser for fellow senior Boston Case and hits his 6'3" target in stride as the Braves punch first with a statement. But the Bulldogs won't lie down, and Butte answers as Ryder Gray connects with Cody Kirsten for the score. Back on defense now, Kirsten still feeling the rush of that touchdown and says, look what I found. Jaeger Hansen can't get the pick. Kirsten does and sets up the Dogs on the goal line where they'll punch it in for the tutty. But Flathead with some home cooking saying this is our night as Eli Koopman feeds a man a shoulder to break the plane, and Flathead will go on to win a nail-biter 23-22 to keep their playoff hopes alive and well. So let's wrap up the night with a battle for the Southwestern A Conference between Butte Central and Frenchtown. First quarter, Frenchtown up 7-0, but Butte Central on the move. Maroons ball out near the 40. Senior Ryan Peoples rolls out to his left. Jack Nagel outfights the defender, slips trouble at the 10. Touchdown Butte Central. We're tied at 7. Still first quarter. Bronx trying to counter. In Maroons territory, junior QB Dawson Radoni leaves the pocket, heaves it towards the end zone, looking for Bailey Corrett, but a leaping Joshua Sutton tips it. A diving Tony Steitzer gets the INT for the touchback. Second quarter, Frenchtown on the move again, this time by way of ground. Senior Jordan Warner bounces it outside, breaking tackles, 16-yard gain. First down at the 14. 3 plays later from the 6, it's Warner again punching it in for a touchdown. More Bronx in the second quarter. First and goal from the 13. Cole Johnson gets the pitch, outruns everyone for another Frenchtown tutty. The lead grows to 21-7 with 4:32 to play in the half. Butte Central trying to find some momentum before the half. Maroons at their own 27. Peoples trying to make something happen. Ill-advised pass over the middle. Cooper Hardy sitting over the middle. He's headed the other way. Pick 6, 28-7 Frenchtown. They go on to make the statement with the 49-7 win. And don't go anywhere. It's time to find our next Play of the Week winner when we come back. But first, let's check in on those statewide scoreboards.
Welcome to NBC Montana High School Football Play of the Week, sponsored by Republic Services.
Only 3 spots remain open in our Play of the Year competition, but to earn a slot, you have to win Play of the Week. So without further ado, let's take a look at our top 3 candidates from Week 7. Let's kick it off from Broadwater, where Townsend's Logan Johnson somehow makes the catch after the ball is tipped, and he ain't finished. He'll take that thing all the way home for the touchdown. Unbelievable concentration from that young man. In Bozeman, CMR's Hunter Lee was activating beast mode all night. From midfield, this kid's gonna fight his way through some wannabe tacklers and cue the beastquake. He's on the loose, and he'll break one last tackle to hit Pater for the touchdown. And finally, on a day where we saw 2 fake punts in one game, Big Sky reigns supreme as Eli Kasberg bobbles the snap, but makes up for it with a deep shot, catching everybody off guard and setting up the Birds inside the 25. They all look like winners to me, so that's why I won't decide. That's where you come in. Use the QR code on your screen or head to our sports page on our website at nbcmontana.com to cast your vote. Polls close Thursday, where I'll announce the winner at 10. And just like that, we've got 2 weeks of high school football to go before playoff season begins, but the gridiron action continues tomorrow as the Grizzly Cats return home. MSU's take on Idaho State, while Montana will celebrate homecoming in style, bringing back the copper and gold. We'll have the action at 10, but for now, have a great night, everyone.